Hello, this is Scry Mind bringing you another Warcraft 3 audio commentary. This is going to be a 1v1 game on Tyrannus Stand with sort of a really interesting strategy that you probably haven't seen too many times before, if at all. I know that's kind of weird considering how long this game's been around and how people have sort of really tried to explore most of the strategic possibilities in it. So this is going to be an elf mirror match, though Jake, who is the teal player, actually went random and he got elf, so right now yellow doesn't actually know, considering he doesn't look like he's a hacker. He doesn't actually know that Jake is elf, though he is going to scout fairly quickly. And so yeah, Jake is Lil Rapist 13 in this game, which is kind of his wannabe troll gangster name, and his opponent has an equally funny name, Old Virgin Killer, which due to ambiguity in the language, I don't know if he's a killer that is an old virgin or that targets old virgins, so he sort of burned himself there. He's asking his opponent if Jake, if he hacks, considering he's 3-0, but Jake, as far as I know, is not a hacker. I don't believe he is, and he's denied it. So, but anyway, he says, "The only hacking I do is hacking my knife into your head." So Jake is kicking off the silly chat already in this game and throwing out the threats here. Threatening to stab yellow in the head, so that's always a good time. So Killer versus Rapist here, so this is going to be a matchup for the ages. But anyway, as you can see, Jake is going for a Priestess of the Moon with his archers, and yellow is going for a Demon Hunter with his archers, and they're both doing archer builds. Yellow going for Ancient War Creeping, and Jake not going for Ancient War Creeping. As you're gonna see here, Jake is gonna do a bit of harassment with his hero to some degree of success, but he's not really gonna get any kills doing it. It's more of just a distraction, honestly, and sort of slow up yellow just a bit. And I noticed by the time he gets there, yellow is pretty much going to be finished with his camp. Just about. And yeah, so teal is just massing up archers. He's adding a second Ancient War. He's pretty much going to be massing archers for this entire game. Yellow is actually also adding a second Ancient War here. He's going to make a lot of archers as well, but since he's uprooting this one, it's more of defense purposes, I think. He wants to be ready in case of mass huntresses. Now Jake went for Scout Owl first. A little bit weird. It's pretty effective to keep an eye on your opponent, though. He's going to lose a lot of damage output from a Flaming Arrow or True Shot, respectively. One advantage he will have, though, with the Scout Owl in this harass is if he casts it one more time. He's not really going to have any mana in his mana pool, or not that much, to make mana burn really totally worthwhile. So it's not going to do nearly as much damage as it normally would. As you're going to see, usually players will, if it's not, if you have 15 mana like Teal has here, usually players will, if they check that and see it, they won't use the mana burn since it's not really going to get the full effect. 15 damage is about 30% of the damage output of level 1 mana burn, so he lost about 70% there of the effect of the spell in terms of damage and mana destroying or taking away. So. But anyway, yellow is going to go ahead and keep creeping. The Scout Owl is keeping an eye on him, so he's really kind of worried. He's probably worried about huntresses more than anything, because with the Scout Owl and good positioning against archers with huntresses, you're really going to be able to get some kills there, since the archers can't really run that quickly away from the huntresses. But teal does not actually have any huntresses. And yellow's going to drag these creeps over here. He actually Ancient War actually stole one of these troll kills. Sort of bad news for him. He lost the experience there, but at least it was only the level 2 troll and not the big Sasquatch. So So Jake is going to go ahead and creep this gold mine over here. It's going to be a pretty good item usually for Priest of the Moon or Demon Hunter even, but and it also gives him the option to expand as he's bringing a Wisp over here just in case he wants to expand. And yeah, so he's actually going to end up running into yellow here, creeping, which you know, the Demon Hunter is actually a little better set up to fight this battle than the Priestess. You know, he's got Dust of Appearance, he's got Boots of Speed and Boots of Agility, so and he was pretty close to full hit points. So now he's level 3, so he's really going to be kind of like a Blade Master. You know, he can really tear these archers. Kind of a new one, and he gets several kills out there. And I don't think he lost anything. Maybe he lost one archer there. Yellow did, but I'd say that was sort of advantage Yellow. He's got this mirror Wand of Illusion on his hero that he used to tank, and try to scout a little bit with him. Scout this expansion here, and Yellow hasn't or Teal hasn't crept it, so he knows he didn't expand there. He probably should have been right to assume, if he didn't, that Jake crept this gold mine and could potentially expand there. He doesn't really keep a close eye on it. But he's going to add some Huntresses here, and notice Jake is tier 2. He's going for the range upgrade on the archers. He's actually going to go for a tier 3, which I don't know exactly what his reasoning there was. Maybe you know, maybe more upgrades on the archers. They do have the marksmanship upgrade that you can get at tier 3. And you know, you can maybe go for chimes or something like that, Chimera. But right now he's just going to creep. He's got level 2 for True Shot Aura, which is good. His opponent is already level 3. And he's going to do a little more scouting with the Wand of Illusion. So Jake is throwing up an expansion up here. And his crazy strategy has sort of been revealed. He had a Wisp over here, and it wasn't really to use his Goblin Lab. The goal of the Wisp was to eventually throw up a Tree of Life and eat his way through these trees and sort of TP in the back door here, which is not something I've seen a lot of players do. Now Yellow's going to add sort of a questionable second hero against archers. I don't really know that the Beastmaster adds a whole lot in terms of what he can do against the archers. You know, bears, summon bears, not effective. The Quill Beast, you know, not that great against archers. And it's daytime. It just turned daytime not too long ago, so you know he's not really going to need any reveal. Plus, he already has the Dust of Appearance, so you know the Hawk's not going to be that useful either. He probably would have been better off to get a Panda or a Naga Sea Witch. Now, I'm not sure. Yellow actually scouted this going down. He's got his Wisp right here. I don't know why he didn't really react to it. You know, this is kind of the vulnerable point in that strategy. You know, before you start eating the trees, you can TP there, but you really want to get in their base, which is odd because oftentimes, you know, fighting in the opponent's base is going to be sort of an advantage for them. But the way this strategy often works out is their bases aren't really set up very well to defend an attack from the back, which again, you know, is very uncommon. So that's probably why people don't really, oftentimes won't have, especially against Elf, aren't going to expect any sort of attack from the back. Though this map has Goblin Labs, you might be a little more mindful about that because Zeppelins can quickly drop armies in the back and everything. He does have this protector up, but at any rate, oftentimes players are not expecting a mass of archers to TP anywhere or show up anywhere. Even with Zeppelin harass, you know, you probably, you know, don't do that very frequently with archers. Though I have seen some pros with crazy micro really abuse the Zeppelin with archers, picking them up and dropping them quickly to avoid damage and get their attacks off. But so if we notice, Yellow is mostly has a lot of archers, a couple of huntresses, 2 melee heroes, which kind of is going to play into hurting him here in a bit, and no area of effect spells. The only thing really area of effect he has is these 2 huntresses, and he's going to get some Druids of Talon, which also questionable. I don't really know. Against archers, they're not really going to do a whole lot. They're unarmored, short range. They don't do extra damage. They do magic damage, but they do have fairy fire, which I guess is pretty decent. But as you're going to see, their short range is really a liability here. Now, when you do this strategy, for one thing, you're going to need a massive archers. Level 2 True Shot Aura or close to it is going to be useful, and you need 2 town portals, because if you TP in there with no second town portal, you really put yourself at a really risky spot, because you won't have the option to get away if it's a losing battle, and you really want that option. If it's just really bad for whatever reason, like he has a level 2 panda, or he TP's in a good spot or something like that. So again, where yellow decides to TP in is going to really determine how this goes. If he gets a bad TP off, like he actually is going to, then it's really going to make it hard for him to win. And again, usually players do not carry around 2 town portals, so once yellow TP's in, he's gonna be committed. And again, not also because this is in his main base, he really needs to defend this. Notice how quickly that protector is going down. Now he TP's in, and both of his melee heroes are trapped behind his own army, so they're not doing anything. And then these huntresses, that huntress is, it's in range of all these archers, quickly gonna die. Just this massive archers can focus all their damage on single targets, and this positioning is actually great for Jake, because everything is so cramped, and he couldn't get his heroes in there. And usually if you need to, sometimes you can hide, shadow meld your archers, but he does have the fairy fire and dust of appearance, so this is not really an option. But he just had so many archers focusing that by the time yellow's heroes got into position to really start the battle, it was pretty much over. They already taken so much damage, and that they needed to heal. They were at half hit points, so. And you notice that he uprooted to try to open up. His base was sort of walled there. He needed to get the rest of his army there. But again, that made the Tree of Life vulnerable, and it quickly went down to the focus fire. And he was slightly behind on food count, yellow was. But again, you'd have thought in his own base he could have, with all these moonwells and everything, he'd have been okay to fight. Definitely been okay to fight that army size. Notice the largest army. 61, I believe that was probably right around when he town portal, and yellow's 50, so it's about 10 food down, or three archers worth of or not 3, sorry, 5 archers worth of extra units, perhaps. Though Jake did have the expansion, so 5 of that extra food could have been in the wisps for the other gold mine. So. The army sizes were, and yellow had 2 heroes. So, in an open battle, those armies you would have thought, might have actually favored the 2 hero player with the tech units, the support Druids of the Talon. But due to the positioning, which is really sort of the advantage you can get TPing into the back of bases, it really favored Jake. And, his opponent didn't really have a lot of choices once he TP'd in there. With his army, notice he didn't have any healing potions. He didn't have a second town portal, which you frequently, why you carry around 2 town portals? They're really expensive, and you only need the 1 in most cases. But he really TP'd into a bad position, which made it even worse. He honestly maybe should have TP'd out in front of his base and uprooted and tried to move his Tree of Life back and get a better position. Though the wisps are going to quickly get killed if he does that. So. You kind of trade off, what you want to do. Definitely needed his Demon Hunter and Beastmaster to be out in front, getting in hits, and tanking at the beginning of that fight, even though they probably were going to get killed quickly, even though the Demon Hunter was level 4. That was a lot of archers. And so that's pretty much the main, the main goal of that strategy is you need a critical mass of archers. Notice Jake had about 60 food. At that point when he TP'd, and True Shot is really crucial. He was only level 2 when he TP'd, but he only needed like 1 kill, and then he hit level 3 for level 2 true shot. Maybe we should have had that before he TP'd. Probably could have got that pretty quick, but if you didn't notice, but he TP'd in there with pretty much full hit points on all his archers, had the range upgrade. Yellow actually responded quickly and TP'd, but his TP was poor. All his units were clustered together, and his heroes were not getting. They're not effective at all when they were surrounded by his own units. And again, the dots and huntresses are low range, so the full force of Jake's army was just hitting whatever target he wanted, and whereas Yellow was kind of scattered and not getting his full force into the battle, which again is a lot of times a huge disadvantage in any kind of battle in this game. If your full army isn't getting attacks in a battle, maybe half your army, that's oftentimes going to be your downfall. Again, in 2v2, same concept. Two people come up on one person, that can quickly get out of hand. And that's sort of the concept that happened here, again, with positioning also coming into play. Bases aren't usually set up to defend attacks from the back because, it's not very common as you're going to see, 20 archers or however many Jake had, show up in the back of your main. Even if you're using Zeppelins or something like that, that's going to be, it's going to be 2, maybe even 3 Zeppelins worth of units coming in. So that, that buying the Zeppelins themselves is gonna take a lot of resources. 3 Zeppelins would be about 720 gold and some wood, 120 wood, I believe. So yeah, those are that's kind of a really surprising strategy, and I wouldn't have expected it to be as effective as it is, but me and Jake have done this strategy quite a bit in solo and even 2v2 games and arranged team games, and it's just it's just sort of the surprise factor and the fact that the positioning actually oftentimes is really good when you TP in with archers like that, because they have such a long range, and if they're against melee units, the melee units are going to be usually kind of clumped up and not all getting around the archers, and then if they do, shadow meld in certain situations can make kind of do what I did in the previous audio, or one of the previous ones, is the archer shadow melded wall to keep the melee units from actually doing any damage if they don't have dust of appearance and such. So but anyway, this is sort of a weird strategy that you can try on certain maps. Certain maps it's easier. Terran Stain had that area behind the base, though oftentimes players will build ancients back there or have a wisp to use the lab. So, and Yellow actually had a wisp back there at a certain point, but he didn't really react to it correctly, so he suffered at the hands of Jake, who likes to say that's why he's the champ. He says that frequently, and I gotta say that was a championship strategy that he has sort of developed, and you might think it's crazy, but it can be fairly effective if you actually pull it off. Masked archers, in other situations are, maybe weak, but TPing into a main base, they become quite effective. So hopefully you got a kick out of that game, a little bit of troll chat there, and the crazy strategy, really out of the box. Hopefully you enjoyed it and learned a few tricks there. So Scrymine signing out.